Hi everyone, and welcome to Robocash quarterly update. My name is Grigory Shakunov, and I'm Deputy CFO of Robocash Group. And in the coming half an hour, we will review the results for 2020 and plans for 2021. So, to make a long story short, the 2020 was a year where as a group, we managed to reinvent ourselves and post a 50% increase in net revenue in the year of Corona crisis. And if I had to sum up our plans for 2021, the word will be double. We are going to more than double our customer base. We are going to more than double our loan disbursement. We are going to almost double our net income and almost double our assets. And having said that, let's jump into the presentation. So, here we are. Like I said, the 2020 was a very successful year for the group as a whole and the platform in particular. So we have been able to fund more than 200 million euros of loans. More than 2 million euros were earned by our investors. We have a customer base of 13,000 investors on the platform, and we are now holding over 20 million net investment on the platform. And the 2020 was a year where we managed to set several records, like the 1.5 million euros of net deposits in 1 month. And net deposits is defined as all the investors' deposits less investors' withdrawals. It's essentially the growth of net investment on the platform. And we were able to fund 10 million loans in 1 single month. Here is the overview of quarterly achievements of Robocash platform, and what makes us particularly proud of our results is that we have a 68% increase quarter-over-quarter in net deposits, while having an increase of customer base of 14%. That means that we not only increase our customer base, we are gaining trust from existing customers who invest even more on our platform. And we are very grateful to you, our investors, for that. And we promise to continue setting the records and provide the interest for you. Then Robocash Group in 2020 had a very turbulent but successful year. We have now over 1,000 employees. We are a serious big group. We have 12.3 million customers, and we are just shy of $1 billion in disbursements. The reinvention, which I mentioned, and I will mention it again in this presentation, the reinvention actually allowed us to increase the share of repeat customers, and repeat customers in lending industry has a far better economics than the initial loans. So this is one of the drivers of a profitable growth which we have posted in year 2021. The net profit, as you can see, was 23.8 million, and on business and operational side, we have launched 2 new products, which are salary loans and this buy now, pay later. Then some pictures which also make us proud, because as you can see, in 2020 we had a slight decrease in registered customers, and a growth in issued principal was not as aggressive as it was in previous years, and the revenue was actually lower than in 2020, but the increased efficiency of our business model allowed us to post higher profit, and the growth rate of the profits was roughly 50%, which is a very good achievement given how troublesome the year was for the economics as a whole and the industry in particular. Speaking about reinvention, when faced with the Corona crisis, we internally left no stone unturned in search for efficiency. And what we have done, we actually reviewed our product offering in most of the markets. We lowered the interest rates, we adjusted the scoring criteria, and all this resulted in a tremendous increase in quality of our portfolio. And the quality of portfolio is the key driver of increased profits in the face of slowing down revenues. And these discovered efficiencies provide a solid basis for us as a group to make further advancements in year 2021. So here is an achievement list for year 2000, or for the fourth quarter of 2020. And as you can see, there are many records there. In mature markets like Russia, for example, we have become the most visited website and we remain the key player in the industry. And in newer markets like Vietnam, we are also setting records in growth of our business. So, and like I mentioned, we are introducing new products. We are extending our lineup to actually continue the good trend which has started in 2020. And here are the plans for the group for the year 2021. Like I said, the key word is to double. We are planning to more than double our customer base, more than double principal issuance, more than double, almost triple our revenues, almost double our profits, and almost double our assets. These are all our very ambitious goals, but as you can see, with the reinvented model, we were able to post some very good results, especially in the second half of 2020, and this makes us believe that we will have a good year into 2021 as well. And speaking about plans in less financial terms, as a group, we are planning to release audited financial statements for 2021 in second quarter, audited financial statements for 2020, of course, and this will happen somewhere in the second quarter of 2021. We are launching a new lending business in Sri Lanka, and we have plans on launching a digital bank in the Philippines. Speaking about Robocash platform, we are planning to double our net investment by attracting additional 13 million euros to the platform, and we will continue integrating new loan originators to enhance the product offering for our investors. So this was a quick overview of results of 2020, the year of reinvention, and plans for 2021, the year of doubling. And now I'm shifting to the questions and answers which we have received from investors prior to the seminar. All right, what are your long-term strategies to provide good interest rates for customers in future too? Well, the strategy remains the same. We are exploiting our competitive advantage to expand our geographical reach and product offering to continue our profitable growth. And speaking about our competitive advantage, I would say that in lending industry, the problem is to assess the problem for a business is to assess the applicant, to assess the application. And there are two types of mistakes which lender can make when assessing an application. Type 1 mistake is to give a loan to an applicant who then doesn't return it. In this case, the lender simply loses the capital they issued. Type 2 mistake is to not give a loan to an applicant who would have returned it. And in this case, the lender saves the capital but loses the lifetime value of a customer, which deteriorates the customer base and hampers further growth. So the problem is that you cannot decrease the probability of one type of mistake without increasing the probability of another type of mistake. Just imagine if you tighten the credit score, the risk scoring, then you issue less loans to bad actors, but you also issue less loans to good actors. And in case you lose in your scoring, you give loans to almost all good actors, but you also give loans to bad actors as well. And our competitive advantage is our risk team, a team of talented professionals who allow us to decrease both types of mistakes to levels which are unattainable to the majority of our competition. So this is the source of our competitive advantage, which drives our profits, which drives our cash flows, and those in turn provide a solid basis for us to increase our geographical reach and to expand our product line. And you can see that we are planning to open new markets and we are starting to offer new products. Like the new markets I was mentioning is Sri Lanka, and new products are the salary loans, the buy now, pay later program, and later this year we are planning on starting a digital bank. So here's the strategy. We are exploiting our competitive advantage to increase our geographical reach and product line and to produce profits through that. Do you have the intention to create a possibility for the investor to make a choice to a certain risk factor? Do you classify the risks on the loan borrower? And can the investor then make a choice on this? We are speaking about risk factor or risk score, as some players in the market choose to name it. Then let's take a step back and consider what is risk score or risk factor for. Essentially, a risk score gives an investor an indication of a credit risk associated with a certain borrower. In case of Robocash, the credit risk of a borrower is covered by a buyback guarantee. So in case a borrower defaults and the loan is more than 30 days overdue, the loan originator simply purchases the loan back from the investor. So the credit risk is not that applicable to the investor. They simply do not face it. What in this case, the loan guarantees essentially transforms, the buyback guarantees essentially transform the credit risk of a borrower into counterparty risk of a loan originator. And in case of Robocash, loan originators are part of a very successful and financially stable group of companies which guarantees the obligations of its loan originators by its own capital. And the financial stability of the group is confirmed by audited financial statements. Having said that, we do not see much value in adding a risk factor, which will indicate an irrelevant credit risk of a borrower to our platform. So the guarantees work in a slightly different way in our business model. I wish to know in advance when Robocash decided to lower interest, and also I wish to have manual investment option. Well, we always announce the changes in interest rates in advance, which was the case with the announcement of new product line in February, and this also was the case with change of interest rates back in September 2020. So yes, we are announcing changes in advance and we are planning to continue doing that. Concerning the manual investment option, the short answer here is no. We do not plan to introduce the manual investment option simply because we see our automated investment function as a strength of a Robocash platform and a feature which is loved by most of our investors. Because what investor has to do in our case is just to set their preferences in the portfolio and start investing. And the algorithms embedded into the platform simply apply the criteria and make all the work for the investor. And what is left for an investor is to reap the benefits. So on this part, we are not planning to introduce the manual investment option in the foreseeable future. In the event of death of an investor, is it possible to report in our personal account the heirs to whom the money accumulated up to the point will be transferred? The short answer is yes, obviously. In the unfortunate event of an investor passing away, their heirs should contact our support team. They should be able to present the death certificate, a document confirming inheritance rights, and heirs' IDs, and this will be enough for the team to grant the heirs the rights to withdraw the funds from the account of a deceased investor. And if the heirs decide to continue investing with Robocash, they will have to register accounts in their own name and deposit money there. That's it. Why is the RC Riga SPV necessary? Specifically for the Kazakhstan, the former loan originator TES Finance didn't use RC Riga. Well, put simply, the RC Riga is an intermediary between European investors and Robocash Group's businesses in different countries outside Europe. The decision to place individual claim rights on the platform or go through the commercial loans is usually business driven, and in some jurisdictions it's simply easier to go through the commercial loans than to work through the individual claims rights. So from the investor's point of view, the options are absolutely identical. They have the same buyback guarantee, the same interest rates, the same terms in most cases, and so from investor's point of view, the difference is simply technical, and from the group's point of view, it's a way to offer to add originators faster than it would be the case with the individual loans. Is it possible to create a Robocash app to download loan from the Play Store? Well, we are monitoring the demand for a mobile app, and for now, we do not see a strong demand on investors. We asked some investors recently whether they needed an app, and the feedback was that no, that wouldn't be too convenient, because most of our investors have their portfolio diversified over several peer-to-peer platforms, and having to jiggle through several mobile apps doesn't add too much value to the investor and doesn't produce a good user experience for them. So the general feedback was that no, the mobile application is not that important for our investors, and so we are not planning to introduce one in the foreseeable future, in the several months. But we will continue to monitor the situation, and if we see that there is a strong demand for the mobile app, we will certainly develop it and offer for our investors to download. So here it goes. Analyzing generated traffic, I observe Vietnam and Indonesia very busy and steady. You also have ventures in India and Philippines. How is this evolving, and do you set yourself milestones for these countries in the future? Okay, so starting from the back a little bit, do we have milestones in these countries in the future? Yes, like I said, the most milestones are about doubling the issuance, and in the markets where we are, well, in the fresh markets, we are planning even more aggressive growth. And concerning the traffic on the website, the traffic follows marketing activities, and currently we do have substantial marketing activities in Vietnam, which allow us to increase the issuance there by some 80% in January 2021. And overall, as a group, we are increasing the issuance according to plan. And yes, to increase the issuance, we will have to increase our marketing activities, and we will see increased traffic in our site and the traffic from the markets where we are present. So How does your group guarantee work? Well, generally, the guarantee in peer-to-peer lending works on two levels. Level one is the buyback guarantee, which we discussed previously in this webinar. Buyback guarantee obliges a loan originator to repurchase any loan that is more than 30 days overdue. Then some actors add another layer of security here, the group guarantee. It's usually a third-party obligation to ensure that a loan originator actually fulfills their obligation to repurchase the loans from investor. In case of Robocash Group, the obligations of loan originators are guaranteed by a group capital. And as I have mentioned, group is financially stable, and we have audited financial statements to confirm that. So this is how it works for Robocash Group. We have loan originators with buyback guarantees, and the loan originator's obligation to repurchase the loans is backed up by a profitable group. That's it. And that was, I believe, the last question which was shown previously. So let's switch to the questions which I'm receiving online. So the question goes like, I would like to get more opportunities to invest loans in more reliable European borrowers. For example, the Baltic states, Finland, Germany, Benelux countries. So, okay, concerning European loan originators, yes, we know that there are players who offer loans in EU countries, but we as a group see much more potential in Southeast Asia and Pacific region. So our main focus currently is in these countries. We do have a loan originator in Spain, the Prestamer AS, and we have plans on expanding their business this year. We are already number 5 in Spain, and we are planning to improve our position. But so far, we do not have plans on further expansion in European Union. So, hi, next question is, how are you planning to grow dramatically? You are planning to grow dramatically. Yes, we are. How can you do this without becoming over-leveraged? Will you raise equity? Well, I would separate these two questions. First of all, like I mentioned, the reinvention of our business model in 2020 discovered tremendous efficiencies in our business model. So this was one of the reasons why we decided to postpone the IPO, which was planned initially for the third quarter of 2020. So the capital we need for expansion right now is less than we thought we will need, which is a very good thing to have, good situation to have. So we can expand without becoming over-leveraged. Will you raise equity? Yes, we do plan to raise equity, but only after we proceed with our debt raising program. Because recently we have placed 300 million rubles, which is roughly $4 million in Moscow Stock Exchange, where we have placed bonds. And now we are contemplating placing bonds outside of Russia for a group, so to build some history with financial markets. So, and in the end, yes, we will raise equity in form of initial public offering, but on these we will communicate separately. The timeline here is still undecided. So explain how loans will be repaid for a period from 1 year to 790 days and 720 days, because these are periods of more than a year. So The annual interest rates for such loans still ranges from 12.5 to 12.7%, and this is analyzed figure. And investors who put money in those loans will get interest every 1 day of each month. So just like with short-term loans. And when the loan is due, the debt body and the interest for the remaining days will be returned to investors. So this will work just like a regular loan on the platforms, but still bigger. Most of those long loans, to make things clear, are not the claim rights on individual loans, but rather investment in commercial loans. And commercial loans is used by a loan originator to fund a series of subsequent debts on the market. So this ensures that essentially this is a working capital financing for a loan originator, and this ensures that there is a constant positive stream of interest to repay to the investors who invested in the commercial loan. So simple like that. And it looks like this was the last question. Then thank you for your attention, and thank you for all the questions, and most of all, thank you for your trust in our platform, and please stay tuned. We will have more things, exciting things to come in the coming year and following years. So thank you, and that's it for the update. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye.